We're going to learn a piece called La Cumparsita. It's from this book here. It's the new Trinity Grade 2 book and it's on page 18. It's a duet, so it's only the top line of each pair which is yours. Ignore the bottom line, that's the accompaniment. Now there are a few new things in this for us to be practicing. One is that there are some string 4 notes. Make sure that you know where your string 4 notes are. Open string is D, fret 2 is E, fret 3 is F. You may need all 3 of those. There are also some higher notes. Up on string 1, fret 5, fret 7 and fret 8, which respectively are high A, high B and high C. They happen in the second half. There's also a new technique in the second half called fifth position, which we'll come to later. Now we're going to start with the first half, and we're going to start at bar 3. This is where the main tune starts, and you're going to want a low E, string 4, fret 2. You'll notice that a lot of your notes have got little dots with them. That means that they're staccato. You play them short and clipped. So your first 4 notes go like that. The next bar has got a little block in it. That's a 4-beat rest. So then you go on to bar 5, beginning of the next line, starts on that low E again, then it goes up to an open string E. Bar 7 is the same as bar 3. Bar 9 is the same as bar 5. So your first 8 bars of tune will go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you look at bars 11 and 12, you have an open string D. Bar 11 goes still staccato, watch out for the G sharp. And then bar 12 starts off with a little, looks like a little 7. It's a half beat rest. So you will go rest, and the last note in that bar is an F on string 4, fret 3. So bars 11 and 12 go like this. Rest. Bars 13 and 14 are almost exactly the same apart from the first note, which goes so you're starting with a low E instead of a low D. We're starting on bar 15 now, low E. Again, nice staccato notes. The next bit starts with a rest, rest. That last bit is exactly the same as the beginning, which is why we didn't do it at the beginning, because I knew we were going to come up to it anyway. So here's the whole of the first page. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first line in part 2 use this fifth position, and that's what the little V is there for. V, Roman numerals, tells you that your first finger goes on fret 5. If you've got one finger to a fret beyond that, then your third finger ends up on fret 7 and your fourth finger ends up on fret 8. 5th fret, high A, 7th fret, high B, 8th fret, high C. You can leave the other ones down. It doesn't make any difference to the notes, and it can help to anchor your hand in the right place. We don't only play on string 1 for 5th position though. Sometimes we play on string 2, and the string 2 notes duplicate the notes that we find lower down the first string. So fret 5 on string 2 is E. It's the same E as your open string. Fret 6 is the F that you would normally find there. Fret 8 is the G that you would normally find there. So fret 5, 6 and 8 are your E, F, G that you would normally find on frets 0, 1, 3 on string 1. The reason we sometimes play it in 5th position instead of just playing them in the normal place on string 1 is that it saves you moving back to 1st position in the middle of a quick passage. If you have to move quickly, you're much more likely to miss the notes. If you're staying put and just moving to a different string, it's going to be smoother. The other note that you need on that first line is fret 7 on string 3, which is a D. It's the same D as you would find there. Starting at the beginning of the second section, your tune goes high A, B, C, A, B, C, B, A. Note the tie between the two C's that you start with, and let's try that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next two bars are slightly trickier. You might have to practice this quite a lot to get it right, because you're going to stay in 5th position and move on to string 2 and that string 3 note. The notes are A, G, G, F, F, E, E and D. The frets, string 1 fret 5 for A, string 2 fret 8 for G, string 2 fret 6 for F, fret 5 on string 2 for E, and then move on to string 3, fret 7 for the D. Let's try that bit together. You are going to start on a quaver rest. And 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. So here's the whole first line of the second part. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, rest. Be careful with the rhythm, be careful with the counting, because there are some funny little rests and tied notes in this second half. Going on to the next line on section 2, starts with an I, V. That means 4th position. Roman numerals again, first finger at fret 4, and it just means that you've got those notes, high B, high A, high G sharp, underneath your fingers. You don't need to go moving around for them. So it goes B, B, A, G sharp, G sharp, and then moves down to 1st position so you can get the F and the E. Watch out for the rhythm. Both bars start with that quaver rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest, rest. And then in the second half of that line, you start with a crotchet rest, a 1-beat rest. The next note is a tied note, so that's going to end up being 1.5 beats. This is how it goes. 3, 4, rest. So here's the second line of the second section. 2, 3, 4, rest. And rest. 2, 3, 4. The third line of the second section is very similar to the first line. The only difference is that at the end you don't have two E's, it goes straight from the E onto the D. So you might want to practice bars 28 and 29 and go and just make sure that you can go straight onto that D. Here's bar the third line all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4. The fourth line starts from that note that you finished on. String 3, fret 7, D, because it makes more sense to play the note where you've already got it than to move back to where you'd find it in first position. So the first bar of the fourth line goes. Notice that I moved back there to get the G sharp, but then I kept my first finger on the G sharp while I play the A. It doesn't matter that you've kept it on, it makes more sense than taking it off and having to put it back on every time. The next bar, again, very similar, but there's an open E at the beginning. You're in fourth position and you're going to play the last 2 bars at the end there. You start in fourth position, but you move down into first position. Use the open string because your left hand's not doing anything else. It can take that opportunity to shift itself back to get the D, C, B, A. So here's the fourth line. We're starting on string 3, fret 7, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's the whole of the second section. Remember to count the rests and the awkward rhythms. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, rest. And rest. Rest. And rest. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, rest. 2, 3, 4. And here's the whole of La Cumparsita with the accompaniment. 1, 2, 3, 4.